Hi, welcome. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I'm here today to share another Merry Monday Christmas card with you. Today I'm going to be playing with the Aspen Tree dies, which is a beautiful die, and your first thought may be, that's not a Christmas die, Joni. Let me show you how you can use it to make a beautiful Christmas card. Hi, this is the pretty card we're making. Doesn't that just say Christmas to you? And it's all done one die cut with this die. You wouldn't think that, would you? Let me tell you what we're using. So if you love this Aspen die, there's other cards I've made with it. You can find it on page 46. It's part of a bundle. Let me get this out of the way so you can see. Of a beautiful set of stamps. And there's other leaves and other things that come with it, but we're focusing on the overall die today. The other piece of paper I wanted to point out to you in here, because you might have missed it, we're using today, is Snowflake Specialty Vellum. And I'll show you that next, because it has to be seen to be really appreciated. It is 6 sheets of paper, and each paper is different. There is a snowflake, 2 snowflake designs, and a flocked, like think dots. And then they repeat that in the metallic. So, which is probably easier for you to see. Here's the metallic. Here's the vellum version. So that's one print. 2 of the 6 sheets. Here's the print we're using today. Let's just, for lack of a better word, call it dots. There's a metallic and a flocked version. You can use either for the card, I'll show you that. And then here's our final snowflake design. And again, metallic or vellum. All right, let's make our card. Our card base is balmy blue. Our sentiments come from this pretty stamp set called Joyful Flurry. So pretty. I love the font. I love when you mix kind of a cursive with a print. And I took the die. This comes from the die set that goes with it. It's called Frosted Flurry Dies. And there's 2 beautiful labels in there. Let's make a card. We're going to first stamp. Our inks and paper play really well together, but I like to stamp first just to give everything a set. Kind of a chance to set up. So we're going to stamp with our Stamparatus, and we're going to stamp the front and the inside at the same time. Let's be efficient with our card making. I've drawn on here where I'm going to stamp. So that's going to go there. When you're using the Stamparatus and you're moving things in and out, one of the first things you want to do if you've drawn on grid paper is to kind of get back in the corner so everything lines up where you intentionally meant it to. And then our little die piece is going to go right here. Isn't that a nice banner size? I think there's lots of things you can do with that. It wouldn't just be a Christmas one. And when you're inking up your Stamparatus, grab a stamp case and stick it below the plate. When this is laying flat, you're just going to get, it's just easier to ink up. Remember, when we're inking our stamps, we want to use a light touch. If you push too hard, thinking that maybe you're going to get more ink on there, the ink actually pushes away from your ink pad, and that does the opposite thing. So I just kind of brush my ink on. Where you want to use muscle is when you're actually stamping. This is where you want to push hard. And of course, if I don't get the image I want, if I need it a little darker, because nothing's moved with my Stamparatus, I can stamp again. Let's see how we did. We did great. We don't have to stamp again. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to set our stamped pieces aside. And we're going to just quick clean that. I love using the chamois to clean. It just seems to pull up the ink. And yes, your chamois will stain, but when you rinse it out, the excess ink goes away and all you're left with is a stain, which doesn't really impact anything you're doing. So it's all good. Next, we're going to do some die cutting. And we're going to take a pretty little piece of paper and make it amazing. If you don't recognize this paper, this is a Celebration special, and Celebration goes through August of 2022, and one of your choices is a paper pack that includes 24 sheets of paper in metallics. You have a gold stripe, a gold dot, a silver stripe, and the one we're using is a silver dot. I'm using this one thinking it kind of reflects snowflakes. So I'm going to cut this piece. See how it just kind of fits right there? I'm going to grab the cut and emboss machine. This machine is so easy to use. I love that the directions are on every plate, so I know what I'm doing. I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget what the sandwich is. So we're going to do a thin cut. So I need a 1, a 2, and 2 number 3s. Here's plate 1. There's plate 2, and then we're going to make a sandwich out of the 3s. And I'm going to adjust this just a little bit so you can see where I'm going here. And if your plates look like mine and they're pretty battered, put the most battered one on the bottom. This is getting lined up here, right through the center. So I'm just going to center it. I'll bring that up so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just centering it right there. And then my next clear plate goes. Making sure I have it. And then I'm just running it through. This machine runs like butter, so smooth. And I'm going to back up just so that I don't hit my camera stand. We're working in kind of tight spaces here. And let me show you what I have. I'm popping up the sides of the cut and emboss so it doesn't take up as much room on my workspace. Getting rid of the rest of these plates. And let's look at what we have. Look at that. It cuts so clean, much of it will come out. So easy. Isn't that pretty? I've done some trees in this in different colors, and I'm working on doing a Halloween design. I'll be sure and share that with you on YouTube once I get that one done. All right, so let's look at our card. Our card base is balmy blue. When I'm folding my card base, I like to line it up on the grid paper because then I'm more likely to get a straighter fold. My actual dimensions, like all the numbers you need and the directions, you'll find on a blog post below this. Look in the information section below this YouTube video and it will be there. So these are the pieces and you could do that, but I didn't like the blue underneath. I felt it was a little distracting. So on our sample card, I used the vellum with the little dots. Let's try something different. Let's try the metallic dots. Ooh, that adds a whole new shine to it, doesn't it? Let's try that one. And I'm going to attach this with dimensionals because when you have a cut like this and you can lift it up even the width of a dimensional, it adds a shadow and a little more interest. If you haven't used dimensionals, think of pieces of foam that are sticky on both sides. They're great adhesive. You don't need a lot. Look, just 4 will hold it. And I'm going to peel off the backs with my Take Your Pick tool. If you have great fingernails, good for you. Or even better, good finger dexterity, then, but for me, this works better. All right. Then I'm just going to lay this right on top. And you'll notice if you check my directions, the sheet I have underneath is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. It's just enough to know that it probably won't show. Oh, isn't that pretty? Let's see what it looks like on the blue. Oh, I like that. So when you have a vellum, it's very opaque. Like, so you can see my hands underneath there. So you don't want to put adhesive there. We're going to use this, and we can see where our paper on top is, and that's where I'm going to put my adhesive. I'm grabbing green glue, one of my favorite adhesives in our catalog. It will hold anything together, and it gives me a little bit of grace, so I can kind of move things around. It doesn't automatically stick, and that's, for me, that's easier. So if I don't get something straight, see how I'm kind of pushing things down? I'm going to just give you a little more light here. so I can see where that top paper is, and then I'll put my glue there, and that will kind of hide it. I'm going to open my card front. That's just easier for me. And that's going to go right here. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that. I love the cutout of the trees, all of it. And as I said, this gives me a little bit of time to move things around, and that feels a little straighter. So we're going to go that way. Now, we have dimensionals here and here. And a double layer dimensional sometimes is too thick to go through your card. But you can use more dimensionals. I just don't want to put them exactly on top of here. So I'm going to grab my sentiment and some more dimensionals. And take those backings off. Look how quick this card comes together. And it has real impact. It doesn't need any additional embellishments on it. It looks great. And then I can put it wherever I want as long as I don't have this dimensional landing on that dimensional. So we're just going to put it right here. It's a season of magic and wonder. On the inside, we have Merry Christmas. Again, a card with a lot of impact, but not real putsy. Not like, oh my gosh, so much work. If you make a lot of Christmas cards, and I send out a lot, this would be a card I could make in multiples. And it's a card that the impact is really from the die, not so much the paper. So you could make it in a lot of papers and lots of options. If you didn't have a lot of one of these papers, I bet you have something else in your paper craft you can substitute. The real star of the show is this die. So you've made this beautiful card, and you're going to send it to someone. Let's give them a hint before they even open that something special is in the envelope. Standard, Stampin' Up! Medium-sized white envelope. I love our envelopes. But let's just bring it up a notch. This is cut 2 1/4 by 6. And I'm putting adhesive just around the outside edge. Notice how I'm holding my envelope flap up? I'm going to push against that to make sure I've gotten the paper to the edge of my envelope. How easy is that? If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. I appreciate your support of my small business, and then you'll know when I have a new video coming out. There we go. Now all we're going to do is trim, like so. And we have gone from a functional basic envelope to a wow. To someone who gets a stack of Christmas cards and they're going to want to open yours first because the envelope is so enticing. There we go. So do you have a preference? This is the vellum. This is the metallic. This looks like softer snow falling, but I really like the look of that one. Either way, you're not going to go wrong with this card. Easy to put together and has a real impact. Thanks so much for joining me on one of my Scrapping with Joni YouTubes. Keep creating. It's good for you.